We're live. We're live.
We're live.
What's up, everybody?
We're here.
This is Podcast X, the season finale. I am T-Bear. This is MackMan.
It's playing on the screen over here, bro.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
We gotta turn it down then. We gotta turn it down. Go talk to me.
All right. Hello. Welcome back. We're here with another exciting episode of our amazing podcast here.
Cool.
And so, we got some cool mutants up in here, and glad to be back with another amazing episode 7, right, Mr. T-Bear?
Yep.
Okay. Season finales. Thank you for bearing with us this amazing season so far. And as you can see, we got some amazing movie quality costumes here.
Want to tell them about your costume?
Oh, yeah. So sorry, I kind of killed the vibe today. There was supposed to be Scott Summers and Logan today, but it's just Logan Wolverine and no Scott Summers because I misplaced my costume. So I'd be a terrible superhero in real life. Where is my super suit?
Where is my super suit? Anywho, we're gonna continue on though. Like we said, season finale, episode 7. Tolerance is Extinction Part 3 is what we're on today. This is the last episode. Last week we said we were gonna have a giveaway, so we have shirts to give away, and we got a gift card sponsored by Mr. Costumeless MackMan over here. Mm-hmm. If you look on the screen, you can see the shirts that are available for all of you that maybe go back and watch. Or is it, I guess we got to lay down the ground rules now. They got to comment while we're streaming. How do you want to do it?
For the gift card or for the shirts?
For the giveaway.
For the giveaway?
Are they going to be two different?
Yeah, let's do two different ones.
All right. How do you want to do it?
I would say if you...
Shirts, we'll do live. You got to be watching.
Okay.
You gotta leave a comment. What'd you say? Leave your favorite mutant. Right? Is that what you said last time? Favorite so. X-Men.
Yep.
Is that what it was?
Favorite
All right,
mutant.
so you gotta, during the live stream, while we're live, you gotta leave a comment and your favorite X-Men, why, and your shirt size. And that'll get you entered into the raffle.
Wheel of Names? Is that how we're doing it?
Yeah, the Wheel of Names. Yeah, we'll have to probably bring it up on your phone.
Okay.
And we'll do that at the end of the episode. So that's how you get a shirt. To get a gift card, how do we want to do it, MackMan?
I would say if you just share the live stream on any of your socials, you'll be entered into a drawing too. Thoughts on that?
And are you sharing it on? Is it on your Facebook page already?
Yeah. So
you can see who shares it from. Okay. So you'll be in charge of that.
Yeah.
All right.
Via Facebook.
And my kids are upstairs being loud. So if you hear them, baby mutants.
Yep. I
apologize in advance. Yeah, but nonetheless, let's get started here. Tolerance is Extinction Part 3, regular episode breakdown rundown here. I'll do the intro, what I saw. Mackie will take the beginning of the episode. I'll take the middle. He'll take the end. We'll wrap it up with our ratings, our likes and dislikes, and yeah, we'll go from there. We'll have some natural conversation within the conversation. So here we go.
Okay.
Tolerance is Extinction Part 3. Magneto did the previously on. As we learned over the series, whoever does that, that's who the episode kind of is emotionally tied into. Correct? There's a Professor X and Magneto scene in there from the animated series. They're fighting some soldiers around the campfire. Professor X is being blocked out by Emma Frost, and that was all.
Was that the Hellfire Club?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
He was trying to get his way in there, and
they shut the door on him, huh?
Mental door or something. I don't know what it was. But yeah, that was added, and that's all I really saw. Everything else was about the same. Nothing new. Did you catch anything? The people running in the middle were still Prime Sentinels. So yeah, that's where we're at with that. All right, so that was the intro. Not a lot. Obviously, last episode. Max got a lot to get going here, so here we go.
Okay.
All you, MackMan.
All right, so we are on part 3 here. And so we open the episode with Professor Xavier and Magneto in their younger days. They're in a pub here. And so they're just kind of going back and forth, talking about why they're there. They kind of talked about, because they're like in a war zone and they're there to help people. And then they start talking about Vietnam. Is that what it was?
I believe so.
Okay. So they're helping people there. I don't know. I don't think it was Vietnam, but we'll leave it at that. Yeah. And so they're talking like we're there to help people. And then they kind of go into the conversation of mutants. At this time, Magneto or Eric and Xavier don't know each other like mutants, and mutants kind of exist in the world. And so he said, if they did exist, why wouldn't they use their gifts to make the world better? And then they're just kind of going back and forth, and then Xavier kind of tests Magneto,
spills the beans
and says, "Hey, I'm gay. Are you gay?"
Bro, I kind of got those.
That's kind of like, yeah, okay. Like I'm gonna test the waters, right. So he said, "What if I were a mutant?" And then Eric responds, "Run and hide before someone starts dreaming of camps." I think that's what he says. And then he kind of uses his mutant powers to Magneto and says, "Hey, I'm a mutant," in his mind. And then Magneto's like, "Well, I control metal." And so they kind of go back and forth with that. And so at one point they say, Xavier's like, "Well, people fear the mutants." And then Magneto says, "No, they're hated." So like they use kind of two different words in explaining that, which I thought was an interesting dialogue there. But also one thing I kind of noticed too is if you look at Magneto in this scene, he kind of looks really similar to Quicksilver. I was like, oh, I can see.
I didn't notice that, but yeah,
I can see
that made me wonder. I was like, gee, did he always have gray hair?
Right.
Even when he was
I know. I was like,
but now thinking about it, Quicksilver has gray hair. So, yeah, it's crazy. Yep, makes sense.
And then slowly the pub transforms into like his conflicted mind. And so outside, you look in the windows, it fills with an ocean outside, and then the pub kind of becomes kind of unstable there a little bit. A lot of energy going there. And so you also hear a Rogue call out to Magneto, and Magneto's just like,
Eric!
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, Rogue? And then you see a boat, and you see some, I don't know if you see the figures then. Do you see the figures? Nope. Okay, yeah, you don't see the figures yet. You're right. So then Professor X, then it kind of comes to like the current times there. He shifts into his older version, and they start talking about what happened. And Charles is just like, "Hey, if you don't turn on the lights, I will have to make you do it." And he said, like, and Charles is like, "Well, if we don't turn on the lights, humans are gonna die." And then Magneto's like, "Well, then we'll evolve. That we'll thrive through the darkness."
Evolution, the way he says it.
Evolution thrives in darkness.
In the dark or something. Yeah.
Yep. And so at this point, Charles forces Magneto to turn on the lights. So we go back to the fight on Asteroid M, and Professor X is crawling. Motherfucker is crawling towards him. Yeah,
on a mission.
And so he climbs up Magneto, and they're like face to face, and then he like hits him really hard with his telekinetic mental beam. Yep, mental beam. And so then we kind of go across the world with the lights coming back on. First, we start up with Silver Samurai.
My Batman.
So I feel like I turned it. And then we see some amazing cameos in this one. This is what I love.
Bro, they just dropped them like fucking.
There's like, here, you get a cameo. Like, hold on, you get a cameo.
Except the other one, yeah. Right. You get a cameo.
So then we see Iron Man for the first time this season. We see Daredevil. I love that Daredevil was in here.
That was nice.
Mm-hmm. We see Doctor Strange doing some surgery with his magic powers. His magic.
Because the electricity is out.
It's out. Yeah.
Yep.
So he has to wear that cape when he does magic?
That's what I was like, oh, okay, carried away. Right. We know you're Doctor Strange.
We know you're Mr. Strange.
Did you notice was it the power ring that it was in like the movies and stuff? Or like the orange. Remember when Forge did his magic? Was it the symbols? Was it the same?
I believe so. I think it was.
I guess I didn't catch it.
Did you catch that? Okay. We'll have to repeat that and look. So then we come back to the scene where Jean's hair, and she's floating down the lake kind of area, pond area right there. And we see Bastion. I just realized that we didn't like touch up on the last episode. Oh, a recap?
We usually do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you watch the last episode, you already know. So
if
you
you're
want to catch them up real quick, I feel like we're already committed to this.
we're kind of committed. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry guys. Just tune in or watch the last episode.
We're mutants. We make mistakes.
The recent episode. All right, continue on.
Okay. So we see Bastion Cable at a small kind of pond like lake, and at this point, he transformed. He looks different now. Like he's not how he looked in the last episode.
No, he's stronger, but he gets even stronger later down the episode. So. Yep.
And so then he kind of talks about like, because there's some kind of miscommunication going on here, but he said, just to think, if Professor had taken me in, I'd be hanging out with you freaks right now. And then Storm's like, hey, homeboy tried to come and get you, but your mom was too afraid to let you go. And so they're just kind of going back and forth on that. So then it kind of comes back to Bastion, where he's just like, well, in order to protect humanity, I must protect them from themselves. And then he starts making his Sentinels kind of not attack humans, but kind of like go after humans too. First it was just mutants, and then they start going. So
Professor X did reset the electricity, whatever, back to the Earth. So the Sentinels are kind of acting their own now. Bastion don't have to control them, but yeah, they're back and doing their shit.
And then this is cool too, because then like it kind of shows, when he says that, it just shows the Sentinels taking over and kind of going to humans too. And then you see some more cameos. We see Cloak and Dagger, which is amazing. I don't know if that's their first time being animated before in this kind
There was a series though, Cloak and Dagger, Marvel's Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah, like live action.
Yeah.
I never tuned into it.
One of my students knew who they were right away, and that's Cloak and Dagger.
Oh, cool!
So I don't know who that was.
That's awesome. You don't know who Cloak and Dagger is? Okay.
I did not know who they were.
Then we see Psylocke and her group of mutants there.
Puck, the little bitty guy.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Do you know who that was? He has a P on his chest.
Oh, okay.
He was that group of Canadians that Wolverine was with originally, and I don't know. They tried to bring him back. He didn't want to go back. There was an episode in that series. So.
Well, good catch. Nice catch on that. And then we get to this amazing. You called it. I'll just credit you this. You called it. Phoenix Rises coming.
I thought the same thing.
I was like, okay, Mr. Bear knows what he's doing, what he's talking about. And so Phoenix rises and kind of handles stuff. Because then Bastion had that collar, and then he kind of busted it. But then the Phoenix
broke it off.
Yeah. And then the Phoenix puts it back together, puts it on him. And then the Sentinels start shutting down, right? That's kind of what happens.
They start dropping like flies.
And then she kind of goes ham on Sinister too.
She gets a mental pause on Sinister,
brings him to him, or she like floats him up to him, and she said, all this mutant DNA to keep you duct taped together to stay young and relevant. And then you could just kind of see that DNA kind of being taken out of his body and stuff.
DNA strands
and so I'm just like, dang, that's crazy. And so then after all that's done, he's like really wilted, kind of old, bald looking, and then
kind of gave me I want to say Palpatine, but kind of Darth Vader vibes, like when he took his helmet off and shit.
Oh yeah, I could see that. And so Morph kind of gives his one shot in there and says he's like, show me my face, or what's my face look like? And then he morphs into his face like that, and then he just kind of like runs away. I was like, Mr.
What's he say? He's like, looks the same to me.
Yeah.
Morph be more. One thing to touch on. Did Bastion, like, when he saw Phoenix rising, did it look like he was scared, trying to like leave and take off? Because remember, she reaches out and grabs him.
Oh, I think
Bastion back in.
I think he was going towards her. Wasn't he? Because I remember
he was flying away.
He was flying away
because she gets grabbed by a hand, and then that's when she puts the helmet on him. So I was like, oh, that's kind of great. That's the first time we've seen that Bastion was kind of like scared of anything or like worried or something. You know, I thought that was a unique scene or whatever.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
What do you got? I meant to look up Cable's powers and stuff, because on the last episode we were stuck off and like, what the hell does Cable do? But he did end up using like powers like his mom's, I guess, and then that's something I was going to do. I forgot.
Yeah, one thing I kind of noticed in this part too, when Jean is coming up rising, he's like, you should learn from history or something about my mom's or whatever. And I feel like that's about my mom. And I didn't know if that was, he was calling Jean his mom, or were we referring to Madeline Pryor?
Maybe just, I think he accepted it both, like they're both kind of his mom.
Yeah.
And then another thing, I think it comes up, it was before Phoenix came up. Sinister was kind of interrogating him, and so was Bastion. They wanted to know how many times he came back to try to save his mom.
Oh, yeah,
like 200 times or something, and he's crying.
Mm-hmm.
But then he turns around and says, "But how's your mommy doing?"
Oh, yeah.
He gets his licks in.
I forgot about that part. Yeah.
I thought that was pretty important. Because it shows like how, like I said, how many times Cable was willing to come back and fail, kept trying. So he just had to find a different way to do it. So,
yeah, 200 times.
Back to you, my guy.
Yeah. So Phoenix, then the Phoenix Force kind of goes away after that. And Jean just kind of says, the Phoenix Force is gone now, and I feel it pulling me back to save my family. And she looks at Nathan there. But then Bastion kind of gets kind of powerful for a brief second, and then
with the crown thing on? That's what I thought. Like, what?
Kind of like a shockwave, right?
That just took away his ability to put it out there. I think he stopped. Remember, Storm cut him off and said, "Oh, we ain't gonna let him get rid of his powers."
Okay, that makes sense.
Makes sense now. I didn't think about that.
And so then Bastion kind of does like knocks everybody away, and then this I thought it was kind of crazy, but he goes up to Cable, rips his metal arm off, and he beats him with his own arm for a little bit, and then he we'll just say kind of like absorbs it, and then takes on that.
Kind of like Ultron mode, huh?
Yeah, I feel like he takes on that metal, and I feel like that's like a unique kind of metal virus from the future or something. So he kind of like embraces that. Yeah. And so then he, begins. Oh, so then we return back to the asteroid. We're back in Magnus's mind. At this point, we gotta remember, Charles made him do that. So his psyche is kind of like all over the place right now. And so Magnus forgets who Charles is. And then Charles is kind of convincing him, like, hey, you can trust me. We'll get out of this pain together. I'll help you escape. Then it shows Charles, Magneto, and Wolverine unconscious. And then kind of Xavier reaches out to Jean.
It was Cyclops and Jean.
Yeah.
To tell him what he was doing.
Yeah, saying like his psyche is kind of crazy. I got to put it back together. And Jean's like, well, hey, if that doesn't happen in a certain amount of time, you'll kind of be... You'll
lose both of your minds.
Yeah. And so then we get Bastion heading on his way to Asteroid M.
Yep. That's what I got. That's what I'll take over.
All right, here, sir.
So the scene where they're in the bar, in the pub, I think they called it.
Yep.
Magneto made mention to it last episode, and ends up. That's where the episode started off, like Mackie was talking about, and we come to find out it was just Professor X in his mind trying to work with him and get him to make the right choice. Because during those cameos, is that where we first saw Captain America and Iron Man with the president? They're in like a war room, seeing the results of Asteroid M and whatnot. But I forgot. I go into it a little bit here. So Bastion's flying up to Asteroid M, and Jean like gives him a warning. The guys that are up there, he's like, he's the future incarnate. They say that a couple different
few times.
Yeah. And Bastion's on his way up. What am I saying here? Roberto is thinking it's goodbye, so he's like kind of trying to make peace with Jubilee. Last time we saw them, they were fighting. And then Rogue says, odds may be bad, but the cards are always in the X-Men's favor. Call back to our boy Gambit,
R.I.P.
Then when he says that, Bastion crashes into the meteor and is approaching like the, what are you calling it? Like a stabilizer thing?
Like a gravity stabilizer something.
Kept the asteroid afloat. And then he's walking up. He's about to like Terminator that shit and reach his hand in there and do something. I don't know. Before he does anything, you hear his name was Gambit. Remember it? And Rogue comes flying in and just drops him. She just does some damage, like as she's fighting midair. She takes him from Asteroid M over to the moon, And I had to do some research because they landed on the moon and there was these structures and
The
stuff.
ruins, right?
And yeah, I guess that's called like the blue area. That was like from the animated series, and the Fantastic Four actually were the ones to find that. It's like an old alien ruins or something, like you said. So Rogue kind of gets some good punches in, you know. She's like, damn, Rogue had a moment. But then Bastion gets up. He heals now, I guess. His face is kind of messed up, but he heals. And then he teleports kind of like Nightcrawler behind Rogue, and she's kind of shocked because that's new to her. And then he begins to choke her out. And then right before he does, like, choke her all the way out, he's blasted by Roberto. And he actually calls him out. He says, Roberto da Costa or something. And you just asked this last episode. Then Roberto actually refers to himself. No, it's my name's Sunspot or something. And that I think was the first time
we actually used Sunspot.
Yeah.
Okay.
In full form, called himself Sunspot and whatnot. So we leave there. From there, they're battling. Then we go back to Earth. The civilians and the news, they're all watching. They're reporting, saying like there's fire in the sky or something along those lines. And we go to the president, like we mentioned, was with Captain America and Iron Man. And he's surrounded by other leaders too. And Black Panther shows up. And they're all kind of debating on whether the Magneto protocols was to nuke the asteroid M, right? Send a couple of nukes or a warhead, whatever you want to call them. And then Captain America and Black Panther are kind of like against it, you know, like really trying to make sure the president understands what he's doing, which he ends up going through with it. I don't think Iron Man says anything the whole time, does he?
No, I don't.
In his cameos at all? And I put that Black Panther. Black Panther, Captain America are against it, but they don't really try to like put up a big fight. Like they leave it up to the president, you know.
I don't
then
like
we go
that.
back. You didn't like that? Like you wanted him to argue a little more?
I think we can discuss more at the end, like
Okay.
our dislikes and likes. But go ahead.
Okay. We go back to Magneto's mind. Professor X is still trying to get him. Well, I wrote it wrong because he did eventually took over his mind to make him reset, so he could reset the electricity and whatnot. But I think he was trying to get Magneto to understand what, like, what did he have to do now? How come he had to go back? Because
he kind of forgot. Remember, he made him do that. It got so intense that he forgot kind of who he was. And then in this part, he's like, I can't remember my parents' faces and why I was here and stuff, you know.
So he's trying to kind of like reset his mind and
and make him remember where he was, who he is.
To get him to make the right choice, we see a boat with Rogue. Rogue, we see, had to pause it on the first watch and look. Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are on there.
Love it.
Who's the other girl?
I want to say that's
Is that their mom?
And I don't. So I gotta look it up. I don't know if that's his daughter or like another love interest.
She's like in green. You can see some green.
I think her name is
Polaris.
Polaris.
I was gonna look it up. What is it?
Polaris.
Polaris. I'm about to look it up.
I think it's his other daughter. I think
he has another daughter. Okay. But these are people Magneto still cares for on this boat that's kind of out in the sea in his mind, you know. Magneto and Professor X are talking, and he says, Rogue, she left me. So many have, like you. You hurt me. And then Professor X, you know, he says, so did you. But we never abandoned each other. The only ones who can break our hearts are those kept in it. I thought that was pretty cool.
That was a good one.
Bars. Magneto refuses still, calls Professor X a charlatan. Am I saying that right? Charlatan? Which is like a fake poser. Charlotte's Web. But he says we are brothers. Professor X says we are brothers. Magneto is reminded of how he can't remember his parents' faces. He starts panicking. Professor X then grabs him and says, I have you, Magnus. I'll always have you, even if I'm pulled under with you or something. It shows his love for his friend. I thought that was cool. Magneto hears marching in boots. The waters breaks the windows, filling up the bar. They're in. And that's kind of where we leave them, right? Then we go back to the blue area on the moon, and Bastion knocks out Sunspot and Rogue. Bastion leaves them there on the moon. He goes back to asteroid M, where he's confronted by Nightcrawler, Cyclops, and Jubilee. Nightcrawler kind of does some work to him. Yep. But I think it reminded me of that Captain America. Was it Civil War where he fights Iron Man and analyzes fight?
Oh
patterns.
yeah.
So it seemed because it seemed like Bastion kind of started figuring out his pattern or whatever. Cyclops actually
was holding his own.
Yep. Goes berserker and he's kind of drained after that. He says, "You never hurt my family again," and sends a final beam and kind of puts Bastion on his ass, and then Cyclops is kind of drained.
Well, if you notice, like they kind of like clashed beams, and it was just like one beam, whatever, and then that's when he did berserker and went overpowered Bastion, but then Bastion had those like 4 things come from his back, and then he was shooting numerous beams.
Oh,
so
yep.
Remember, Cyclops couldn't keep up with like deflecting him. Yeah.
Then Jubilee kind of comes in and does a little work, puts up a good little fight. She kind of looks like has a little badass moment with her glasses. Like since the Mojo episode, I was just waiting for Jubilee to kind of like do what the older version or the beta version of her did.
Okay, you noticed that,
travel
right?
around and stuff. Yeah.
But she used that move she learned from her older self. It was like that circle.
It was in that one?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
So that circle firework move, whatever, that was she's in Mojo. She used it this time.
Okay.
Herself.
So that's how she got the best of Bastion?
Yeah.
I think she actually, because Bastion has the wings now, I think she ripped one of his wings off or something. And she was the one that kind of
messed him up.
Fucked his face up. Yeah, his face was like all messed up. Reminded me of a movie, I can't remember which one it was.
Two-Face Batman.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. His eyeball. Bastion rises up, though, of course, and says, "You call yourself a family. Behold my family." And this time there's a sentinel that crashes through the ceiling.
He's your confident, huh?
Yeah, he's your confident. He's like this. And then I kind of look cool like that. He's like that. And then, but the sentinel ends up squashing him. Did you hear the sound effect when he got squashed? It sounded like a bug getting stepped on. It was pretty cool. And then the sentinel lands on him, squashes him. Beast, Storm, Morph, and Jean pop out. And Beast says, "Well, the Greeks did love horses and irony." I don't know what he's getting from that, but just Beast being Beast. The team kind of regroups and hugs, but of course Bastion begins to lift up the foot off of him.
He's even more battle damaged, huh?
Yeah, he's even more battle damaged, but he's struggling. Like, you could see that he's struggling. But I think the team was like, all right, here we go again. Like, they're getting ready for another round.
Because they're all powering up and stuff, huh?
Yeah, they're all powering up. And then Cyclops tells the teams to stand down. And then that's where I'll pass it back over to you.
Okay. So I don't have notes for this part.
No,
I'm just gonna do.
I left my notes.
Let's see here. Okay, so yeah, we're kind of thinking, okay, we got a second bout about to happen, at the throwdown, and then Cyclops just kind of tell him, yes, stand down, and he kind of talks about parenting and how like parents aren't perfect and they messed up, and he messed up too, and that he can relate, even like if his mom kind of kept him from Professor X. Basically, that's kind of what the conversation was. And then Bastion kind of like...
You say it was almost a moment where he gave in? But then like his hate kind of took back over? Yeah,
and he was like trying to like humanize him in a bit. And then anyways, he's like, Jean's like, well, there's more humans there's more people of us being developed, like more babies and stuff like that. We're making babies and stuff like that. And then at this point, he's like, well, the humans what did I say?
Humans would rather die than
to procreate with you, whatever. Yeah. And we look and there's like these missiles coming towards the asteroid. And this is the part. We'll get to the end of that when we have that covered. Anyway. So then missiles are coming, and then those missiles hit that gravity thing, and it kind of creates like an explosion. And then Jubilee goes flying, Sunspot goes after her, and then at this point, Jean kind of puts a force field over the group, and then Cyclops is like, "Bastion, give me your hand," or something like that. And then Bastion's like, "Forget that." He's like too confident. He's like, he would, he just wasn't going for it. And so then at this point, the asteroid begins to fall, and then they're trying to figure out, okay, how can we stop this asteroid from falling? Because mind you, Professor X and Magneto are still unconscious, and so Beast's there, and he's like, yeah, ideally we can kind of try to slow this down so it doesn't turn into another dinosaur like event,
real team event. Like if we all work at the same time in unison.
Yeah. And so it's cool to see them all kind of work that way, because then Jean and Storm go outside. They kind of combine to make a power of like wind, and then Jean's telekinesis. Yep. And then we have I don't know if you noticed this. I had to see this in the second time I watched it, but Scott, he shoots like a generator, and it turns on those thrusters at the bottom of the.
I didn't catch it.
Yeah, I didn't catch it because
he charges it up.
Yeah, because when he's shooting it, there's like a bar that goes up, like as if it's like powering up, and then you see. Like
Beast is in the cockpit, right?
He's kind of like over everything. He's like in a computer room and trying to like kind of stabilize it and stuff. And so you see like those thrusters go off, and so like they're trying everything to try, and then we see Rogue Homegirl trying to like. Superman. Yeah, Superman. Yeah, I'm like, girl, cool. Come on now. You're
strong.
Come on now. So then they're all doing this in unison, but then I think I kind of jumped forward, but even before they start working together, there's like a really powerful moment that Jean and Scott kind of go see Cable.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if that was before. It was around. Yeah, it was.
Because like we see the asteroid coming down, and he's like obviously sitting there, one arm in a diner.
He's kind of defeated.
Yeah, he's just no not.
Help right now.
I was like, damn, my arm gone.
He's like sitting in like a diner or something, right?
Yeah, and so then Jean and Scott kind of, how would you say that? Like
astral themselves there.
Yeah, project themselves there
mentally.
And so basically, Scott was like, I wanted to be different from my dad. I should have said. Or I wanted to do something my pet dad didn't do, and basically was saying I didn't say goodbye. And then Cable's like, oh dang, so that's this kind of moment, like saying like, okay, you guys are saying goodbye because you're gonna expect to die or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so then Jean's just like, yeah, we care for you, we love you, and they call him son. And I don't know, what is that?
There was the cool moment where she actually blocked his powers, which doesn't make sense because he's not there in person. But she blocks his powers, and then like, she was able to show Cyclops' eyes.
Oh yeah,
how they had the same eyes. Remember?
Yeah,
so
I heard about that
cool.
part.
I thought that was pretty cool. And then I think I think Cable actually started crying.
Yeah, Cable and then Scott started crying, whatever. And then after that, that's when Scott starts charging off that beam, because then he was crying when he shot his beam, whatever. I was like, oh man.
He put his laser or his
yeah.
What are they called?
Visors.
Yeah. He put his visor back on. Well, they had a tear.
Man, if I had my costume on today, I'd be going off right now. Anyways, so yeah, they're all trying to work together to stop.
So they're all working. I thought it was funny. They're all working together. Where was Sunspot and Jubilee? And where was Nightcrawler's job? Remember?
Where was Nightcrawler?
Nightcrawler's on the plane praying with Professor X and Magneto.
Yes, I forgot about that. I mean, what could he do though?
I don't know. But just like there's nothing.
Ooh, like, there's some support there,
Lose some weight or something. Like, teleport all this unnecessary weight out to space, and maybe that'll help Rogue.
Teleport that whole fucking asteroid.
Yeah, or something.
I forgot about that.
But where was the moment with Scott and Wolverine?
There was a moment?
Yeah.
Oh, that was Morph, you mean? Not Scott.
No, before that, what Scott... I thought it was cool what Scott said to Wolverine.
He did, huh?
When was that? Was that before? Because I would watch it, but it didn't come up while I was watching
That was when... So, remember when Xavier and Magneto go unconscious? Then it shows Wolverine in the back unconscious, and that's when he walks up and says that to him.
Oh, okay. So it was the beginning, we skipped it?
Yeah, we skipped it.
I thought it was pretty cool.
You want to say what he said?
I'll touch base on it.
Okay, all right.
I should have played it out. See, if you had your costume on, we could have played it out. So Wolverine, if you remember from last episode, he was about to get the adamantium ripped out of him, so he's kind of still real healing.
Wait, so we don't even know if like it entirely got ripped out.
No, we don't.
Or actually. Pieces, Yeah. And then what did he do with that? He just got through that. Here you go. The adamantium's over here.
Important, like that's some
plot holes here.
Like, you don't just throw it out in space and plot holes. So Wolverine's in like the whole episode, and we'll get to it at the end. The whole episode, Wolverine's in this. What would you call it? Healing.
Yeah, he's like really. He's really healing right now. Like you think he would kind of bounce back really quick, but it feels like it's taking longer than usual, right?
Yep.
Because he
I
kind
thought
of
it was
heals
crazy.
kind
Like,
of
man,
quick, right?
this mutant that doesn't have no healing powers gets stabbed, and we talked about it last episode, and he's over here sitting up and breathing and whatnot, Magneto, and then the one
Spoiler
that
alert.
has healing powers is in a fucking tank and needs assistance. He's on a
Right.
breather, but anyway, the part that I wanted to talk on was Cyclops comes up to Wolverine while he's unconscious, whatever he's breathing, and yeah, Morph's kind of just by his side the whole time. No, because Morph comes up from the ground, right? Yeah, because he turns into the dinosaur thing when they get off the Sentinel. So I'm just getting all over the place now.
Oh, he did turn into the dinosaur thing.
Sauron or something.
Yeah. But remember he turned into Jean Grey too?
Yep, that part. But before that part,
Mm-hmm.
Cyclops goes up to Wolverine and he says, "Do what you do best, heal." And, and then because in the comics or in some other Wolverine movies, Wolverine always says, "I'm the best at what I do.
Mm-hmm.
What I do isn't pretty or something else."
Mhm.
But Cyclops put a twist on it, and he said, "Don't you break her heart." So I thought that was cool. I mean, I think it's weird, but it's cool that Cyclops knows Jean.
And
Really,
Wolverine. Huh?
Jean really cares about him, and
Uh-huh.
if something happens to him, it's gonna break his woman's heart, and he doesn't want that, like,
Yeah.
but I thought it was cool that Cyclops came up and said that, and how he said it, and how he said like do what you do best. That was pretty cool.
Right.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then the part that you're talking on, is that kind of in the part where you are right now?
Kind of, yeah, like that's when the asteroid's going down, and like they're like, I think it shows Nightcrawler praying, and then it goes into Morph. It's like, she's not here, but I'll say it for her, and then turns into Miss Dr. Gray and says, "I love you." Was it "I love you, Logan," or was it "I love you"?
Something like that.
Yeah. And so,
And then we see like a breath or something on his
on his
mask fogs
respirator.
up.
Yep.
So I was like, maybe he wakes up then and comes out and starts helping somehow. I don't know how he could help in that
Your
situation.
boy is down. He is down.
Where are we at from there though?
Okay.
You're back on the
Okay,
hot
so
seat.
then the hot seat. So then Magneto kind of, they're back in the pub, and then eventually he's like, you are known by another name. That's what Charles is saying. And so they come out of that pub, and he's like, "I am Magneto." Okay.
No, Professor X tells him his full name, Eric
Magnus
Lyncher or whatever. But you were known as another name. But how they got there was like Professor X telling them like how the X-Men are his family, this and that. They have a big family moment, Dom Toretto moment. And then that helped Magneto realize who he is, and then he remembers who he is, Magneto, and then he comes to and
Right.
Magneto lives. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and
That was
he
cool.
and we see the asteroid slowly slowing down, and eventually goes back up to space here, and then like everybody's kind of like relieved and like happy, and then we get a shocking moment where it looks like it's an explosion, but the meteor and everybody on the meteor just warps somewhere else, and there's like glitter dust left behind or whatever, and everybody's
Is
like,
that like a tell on who did it?
not really, I don't know.
It just
Yeah. And then so everybody's like, what the heck? What's going on here? And then we push 6 months after this
6
event.
months.
And we see Forge, I would assume at the X Mansion, right?
Yeah, they showed a scene of the X Mansion at the gate, and they had like the pictures and flowers out because the X-Men are presumed dead. They think they're dead. So they have all these thank yous and whatnot outside the X Mansion at the gate. So yeah, we're at the X Mansion with Forge.
And then Forge is like, there's like you can see like it's cool. It's kind of like a drawback to like Days of Future Past, the comic book cover for that, because it shows like deceased dead X-Men, and it kind of is similar to that, but it says presumed dead, AWOL, off world, or off. Yeah, off
I think
planet.
the only one that said off planet was it off world.
I think it was off world, and there's two.
The only
of
one that
them.
was off world was Scarlet Witch and
One more, her brother.
Oh, okay.
Quicksilver.
Yep.
And so
Do we know where they're at? And I'm sorry to cut you off again, but where the hell's Iceman? He's an original fucking.
Well, he's
X-Men.
on there. Did you see that?
He's on the board, and
Yeah.
like, they know where he's at. I think because he don't have nothing over him. Like he's not presumed dead, or he's not.
Right. I want to assume maybe he came back after that, and we'll kind of get into that more, but next season, like he came to like step up because these guys have been gone for 6 months, and then so Forge is in there like working on something, whatever, and then we have Bishop come, And Bishop,
Young
does he have
Bishop.
different hair this time
He
around?
had long hair, remember?
Yeah, now
Bishop's
he has-
the one from the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm. And now he has short hair now, right?
Yep.
So he had
he's a
long
younger
hair
Bishop.
before? Okay. And he's like, hey, you can't just walk in here like I know you. And he's like, oh, man, I know you.
Yeah, Forge pulls the gun, right?
Mhm.
But it's weird because I was confused. They know each other. Or they knew each other. How does it work?
Did they know each other?
I thought they did. I always thought it was weird. Like, even with Caleb, fucking Cable. Like, he shows up with the X-Men patch, you know? He has the X-Men on his costume. And, like, in the animated series, and the X-Men don't know who he is, the first thing they do is attack him. And then it's the same thing with Forge. Like, in the animated series, when he first come around, he had an X-Men suit on, X-Men colors, X-Men logo. Bishop has an X-Men logo, but yet they think they're enemies right away. So, like, I don't know.
We gotta be careful in the X-Men world because there's a lot of deception there.
True.
Did you hear what name he called Forge though?
Ah.
I feel like this is the first time we've heard his name. He called him
Call him actual
Daniel.
name. Daniel?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mhm.
I didn't catch that. I have to go back
Yeah.
and watch it. Because if you remember, Forge is a Native American cyborg.
Native American cyborg.
He has a real name.
And so basically, Bishop is like, it's not where they're at, but more of when. And he's like, what do you mean? And then we jump to Egypt, 3000 BC. And we see Rogue, Kurt, Charles, Beast, and Magnus together. And they are helping this one individual because he's cornered by these Egyptian kind of guards, would you say?
Yeah.
And then they kind of helped him. And then we come to find out that is Apocalypse. He
Say Apocalypse the way he says
Yeah.
it. We tell that it's a mutant because obviously he's getting attacked by a bunch of guards, like you said. And then he's white or something, like, and with red eyes. And you can
Long
see
hair.
that he doesn't look human.
Mm-mm.
He has long hair.
He's blue. Kind of like blue.
Is he blue or white?
Maybe
I thought
kind of
it
like
was
light blue.
Light blue. We'll say
Mhm.
light blue. But from there, they go to the who are the other ones that went to the future?
Oh, so then the future we have 3960 AD, and then we only have Scott and Jean there. We don't see Storm. What
Don't
happened to
see Storm.
Homegirl? Nightcrawler.
Wolverine.
Or no, not yeah, Wolverine.
Nightcrawler's with Rogue.
Yeah, Nightcrawler.
I thought that was cool that they landed together.
Yeah, we
But
missed.
Wolverine, Morph, and Storm.
Yeah.
AWOL.
I forgot about more.
Cable. AWOL. Did you see that on the board?
Yeah.
He was AWOL.
So
He's
was
just absent.
Jubilee and Roberto.
Yep. We don't know where they're at.
Yeah, so then we end there, and we have like this clan come up. I can't remember the name of the clan, and then we have another shocking thing where we see a child version of Nathan come up, and they're like, Nathan, and so that's that.
Was it like the Ascani tribe or something?
Yeah.
And you call me Mother Ascani or something. I could be saying that name wrong. But yeah.
Something like that. I know what you mean. It's like ASK.
Did you research that and look that up? No?
Mm-mm.
Okay. What about the post credit scene?
I'll let you go to that. That's you.
All right.
That's
So
you.
from there we leave Scott and Jean with what would you say about teenager Nathan? He was baby Nate, and I was
Baby
teenager
Nate.
Nate. Naughty ass Nate. Those other ones are in Egypt. They just saved Apocalypse from these guards. Obviously, they don't know it's Apocalypse. Do they though? Like, because he pulls his mask down and he tells him his name in like Egyptian.
Yeah.
And I think they know who he is, but he didn't. But he's younger, obviously. Like when he did all the Days of Future Past stuff in the animated series, obviously he was older. So I wonder where that's gonna go.
And then I forgot to mention too, like then we kind of do a close up or a pan over to like this advanced city too.
Yeah.
In the desert, there's like a big dome.
And
in
it's
the
supposed to
middle.
be so like in the past and
Yeah.
but it kind of ties into like the Days of Future Past Foxverse movie.
Mhm.
Like he was the first mutant. He was looked at like a god, and then he helped build the pyramids and whatnot. But
You hate time travel so bad, huh?
I hate time travel.
Mhm.
I told you this, but
Mhm.
it goes into the. I didn't know it was what's it called post credit.
Yeah.
I
That's
didn't
you.
watch. I didn't stick around to watch. I was kind of upset at the ending of
You
it.
didn't stick around to watch it?
I didn't stick
At
around
first
because there hasn't been one.
Uh huh.
So I went to go did some research, looking around, and there's like the post credit. I was like, post credit scene. So fuck, so I had to go back and rewind. So in the post credit scene, we see the aftermath of Genosha. Right? Is that the Genosha flag? Genosha flag. And we hear Apocalypse. What does he say? Do you remember what he says? Something about like so much death or something. All my children.
My children. So much death. He mentioned something about death or something.
Yeah, he says something about death, and he picks up some dirt, and then when he says that, whatever he said about death, the dirt blows away, and there's the Queen of Hearts card that he's holding. And if you remember from the earlier in the series, the Queen of Hearts was the card that Gambit kind of tied to Rogue with, and like that was big. So I was like, oh shit. And I told Mackie, I was like, if they do any, because there is like a story in the comics and out there where Gambit's brought back to life, not with the use of time travel though. Because I told this to Mackie before, time travel I feel like robs us of these emotional deaths, and like even it's way off topic, but Joe Rogan asked Robert Downey Jr. is like, well, you guys got time travel now. Do you think you'll come back? And then Robert Downey's like, but wouldn't you feel robbed? Like, wouldn't you feel robbed if I did that? I'm like, yeah, we would. Like, you died. So, that's my stance on time travel.
I agree with you. I feel like you kind of have to be careful with it, though, too, because I really love the I'm Wolverine's long hair. No.
Howlett.
James Howlett. But, I really think they played off the Days of Future Past storyline pretty well, though, with the time travel there. Because if they didn't do that, then they would have been massacred in the future, you know.
Yeah.
So I thought that it can be used to a certain degree, but yeah, I agree with you to an idea where it ruins the stake we have in some of these stories, and also the meaningful deaths, you know.
Yeah.
So I definitely hear you on that.
Where was it? Another thing I was kind of disappointed with. I mean, so we're kind of just going right into likes and dislikes. I think we'll get to ratings next, but I was kind of not upset, but let down, I guess, with like Apocalypse again. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Because in the animated series, they had the whole, like you said, Days of Future Past, and Apocalypse was a bad guy. I don't remember if they defeated him or what, but there's like so many other villains they could play with, but
I thought Sinister, and like with this whole season, I thought Sinister was gonna have like a more bigger.
Yeah, he was
enemy
kind of
role,
just like
you know, he's kind of like a standby enemy,
Yeah.
or like side piece enemy.
Like, did we really ever see Nimrod at all in this episode?
He was referenced, but yeah, I don't think we ever like actually get to see him. I guess who would you want?
I guess I don't know. I just know that there's a bunch of other villains out there. But like, obviously, Apocalypse is the big bad. Magneto is their main guy, but he's helping them right now. But I guess it's just, I don't know. Doctor Doom. I mean, we saw him, but like, I think they're saving him for Fantastic Four, or if they do something. But we can go into all the cameos we saw and the likes. I really feel like it's building up to Avengers versus X-Men, because they're showing a lot of the Avengers. Obviously, more transformed into Hulk, so
that was amazing.
Of the Hulk. That was cool. Did you see? I think it was this episode of the last one. Peter Parker and Mary Jane.
Yeah.
Was it this episode? It was like, I think it was when the asteroid was falling or something.
Yeah, because they were watching on TV, right?
Yeah.
In New York, yeah.
And someone said like, "Oh, was that Flash Thompson?"
That's what I thought that was too, in the back.
Thompson,
Yeah.
So, the cameos are great this episode. I love this episode. Not my favorite.
Who'd you say your favorite cameo was?
My favorite cameo. This episode? Probably Daredevil. No. I like Black Panther. Actually, he didn't really do a lot, but it looked cool. Like, that was the first time I seen him with like his cape.
Right.
And because in the real life one, or the MCU, he doesn't have a cape, but no capes. But he had a cape. That was pretty cool. And it's not T'Challa, it's T'Chaka. His dad, right? Because they were in the 90s. So, probably Black Panther, favorite cameo. Yours?
This episode?
Yep.
Mr. Daredevil himself. That was awesome. I loved it.
You had in your notes, and you didn't mention it, but Mr. Fantastic made a cameo.
Mr. Fantastic made a cameo. I totally forgot to mention that.
Psylocke, like you said, made a quick cameo. Was that her first cameo? No, because Morph transformed into her.
He used her.
Who else? don't know if that was it. Cloak and Dagger, like I said, I didn't know much about Cloak and Dagger. I do wish like the cameos were more though, like
instead of
Captain America.
Like, here they are, and then
I wish they were more like action,
more part of the story.
Yeah. Overall though, like I said, this wasn't my favorite episode. Obviously, because of my guy was just chilling on his table the whole episode. But like we joked about it, like what could have you done? What could have he done to help in that area? Besides maybe get some licks on
some
Bastion.
debris off.
Oh yeah.
That damn man.
I'll slice this up, Nightcrawler. You transport it off piece by piece. I don't know. But so my rating for this episode, I'm giving it a 4 Gambit cards out of 5.
Gambit cards.
I think those other ones, the ones that got 5s this series, were just the action was there, the cameos, that like all of it. My favorite characters were in it, so that is why I'm going 4 out of 5 Gambit cards. You?
So
how many toads?
4 out of.
Oh, dislikes.
Okay.
Excuse me.
So dislikes for me. I kind of touched on it a little bit, but when the damn government was like, let's shoot fucking missiles at this asteroid and not hope that it's going to come down on us. They even said like it's like the asteroid's like a gun, basically a gun pointing to Earth's head. And
did the human say that, or did or did Black Panther say that?
One of them.
No, it was a human, huh?
Yeah, because they were in that war room.
So let's shoot it down so it comes at us faster.
Well, I mean, even if they didn't shoot it down, they just said like the Magneto Protocol, and like you're shooting missiles at it. What the hell did you expect to happen with that asteroid? Like you caused your own demise, you know. So that's kind of thing that pissed me off a little bit. Was just like, come on. And then Senator Kelly, like he's
President Kelly.
He's worked with the X-Men so many times, and like you need to have faith in these motherfuckers, you know.
Yeah, but remember last episode, it was to that point where like he was giving Professor X his last chance with Magneto, and he was kind of listening to the humans and whatnot.
I don't know, just like you just kind of shot yourself in the foot with that one. That's why I was just like, man, I don't like. That's what I didn't like about this episode. What I really liked is just like the numerous cameos. Like I know cameos ain't a big part of it, but should have touched on a lot of them. You know, Spider-Man, Silver Samurai. Is it Silver Samurai?
Yep, Silver Samurai. Omega
Mr.
Red made another cameo this one.
Omega Red. We've seen a little bit of Silver, not Silver Surfer, Quicksilver.
Fantastic Four people. Oh, Quicksilver. Yeah.
Quicksilver. My girl Scarlet Witch. I think that was Polaris. I'm pretty sure.
Have we like actually seen her? Like,
I think she was in a series before.
Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, but we already seen Quicksilver too, but he was blacked out.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Because Morph transformed into him. Remember?
Yep. When he first.
But yeah,
Sentinel, Prime Sentinel.
But yeah, that was kind of it. I 4 out of 5 toads for me. My toads up.
4 out of 5 toads. Yeah, they're up.
Like kind of like Mr. T-Bear. This was a good episode, but it wasn't like one of the previous ones that I liked. You know. So yeah,
do you feel like it's a ugly way to end the series, the season.
Well, that was kind of like one thing too. Is like, okay, now we're doing time travel again, and now we gotta save the X-Men through time, and what's that gonna look like? I don't know. Can we just stick to modern day stories?
Damn time travel. I wonder what's gonna happen. Like you mentioned it. Is it gonna be X-Men 98 next series?
Oh yeah.
I wonder what it's gonna be if it's just regular X-Men.
Yeah, I doubt we'll have another season this year, so we'll probably wait next year.
You should tweet at the director, and is it gonna be 98? Or is it just regular X-Men now?
Or is it regular X-Men now?
I wonder where Wolverine and Morph and I forgot about Storm, but I wonder where she went.
All right.
And with how Cable's doing, like
they're obviously not in the current timeline because they're missing, you know, presumed dead. So I'm just like, they had to go
Storm
somewhere.
Did presume, yep, they did. But like I said, Cable was AWOL, so he must be on planet.
He's probably trying to like do his own thing and like trying to bring everybody back or whatever, you know, I don't know. Because
can he just time travel?
I don't
Does
think
he have a band? Because on his arm that got ripped off?
Yep, his arm that got ripped off.
So you don't have time travel no more.
Do you think Bastion's actually gone though?
He just got sucked out into space, right?
Well, it like exploded, and it kind of exploded right in front of him. So.
Oh, he got sucked into that gravitational
and it exploded.
thing, huh?
Yeah, so I don't know if he's actually gone.
I don't think he would be. If he's tied into these other Sentinels, I'm sure he could just transfer, like a Professor X, transfer his conscience to another Sentinel and go.
You know, I really like the idea of Sentinels, but the Prime Sentinels,
you're really against those, huh?
Just wasn't sitting with me.
It's just like the looks.
They were using
like
their tongue. Yeah, their looks and the ideal of it. It just, I don't know, because I really fell in love with the classic Sentinels, and I really love the Sentinels in Days of Future Past, the live action film, and
those are cool. I like those ones in there.
I guess I like the older version, not the new ones, because then they use the Mystique to
DNA.
Yeah,
power.
Put me on one of those movies. I'll show you how to make a damn movie.
I'll show you how to write a movie.
I'll show you how to make a movie.
All right, let's do our giveaway.
Okay.
No comments.
No comments?
Even our main viewer.
Oh, I thought I seen a comment on there.
Well, it's a comment, but it wasn't it didn't meet the requirements.
Oh, okay.
But
there's 4 people watching.
Did you, me, that TV, and
Marisol.
Anybody share it?
Oh, I didn't even check yet.
We'll check it later.
Okay.
Marisol, you get a shirt. You tuned in all season with us.
Thank you for sticking with us. Yeah, you get something out of this.
Look at this. Sorry, it's not movie quality. Look, I put it on, then I went to go pull it down. It just ripped.
Yeah, but overall, it was how would you rank it overall, the whole season?
The overall season?
Out of your 5 Gambit cards.
Camera first. Right
oh, okay. So me first.
Out of your 5 Gambit cards.
Me first with my 5 total. You're on camera right now.
It switched. There's a lag.
Oh, delay. Okay, sorry. Overall season, I am excited for what's to come. I would say 5 out of 5 for me for the entire season. Just like a revamped.
Save Marvel. That was kind of the big.
I wouldn't say it's save Marvel, but I feel like it's opened another potential for animation. Because if you notice, DC, they're really good about their animated films. They have a really good lot of Batman and Crisis on Earth, whatever. But they don't have a lot of good live action films. No. Where Marvel, they have a lot of good live action films, but not a lot of good animated films, whatever.
What was the last Marvel animated?
Exactly.
They put out, you know? I'd rather. I disagree with you on that.
Okay, that's good.
No, just because of the fact that they haven't put out a bunch of animated stuff. I don't think, and if they did, I guess I haven't seen it because I guess not good. There was a couple. Like Hulk versus Thor, Hulk versus Wolverine. I saw those.
Well, they had like a lot of Avenger ones too, but those are like years ago. I really don't remember what the last animated.
But that was even before like the MCU universe took off, right? Because if you talk about like Marvel animations, then you go into like the What If series. That was good,
yeah, and the What If series was pretty good, yeah.
And outside of that, that's the only other Marvel animations.
Right.
And I asked, do you think that it saved Marvel? Because I saw an article or something about like how Marvel, after seeing the success of 97, that they're gonna limit what the content they put out or something, like so many movies a year, so many series, which like I said at the beginning of our show here, I felt like they were rushing a lot of things, especially with Disney Plus and you could binge watch stuff. I was like, I wasn't for that. So I'm glad it's kind of back on track. Like the cool thing about comic book movies is the build up, and I feel like Avengers and the MCU kind of did it right at first, but then it went into kind of just rushing things and introducing these new characters and like She-Hulk. I always go back to She-Hulk.
Man, you better leave my girl alone.
They could have built her up differently, though. Like like they even made Hulk look bad in there.
They did. I thought it was a good like.
I mean, it was the Hulk that we know, but it wasn't like rip face off Hulk, like big bad Hulk. But then Hulk kind of was watered down throughout the MCU universe.
He became Smart Hulk.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree to a certain
Bitch
degree.
asshole. Bitch asshole.
I agree. Like there was like so many projects put out that it kind of dilutes like these characters and stories. So like yeah, like these last few projects on Disney Plus, I wasn't too impressed. Like the ones that I really will always were amazing and love was the Loki series. That was really good. Both seasons 1 and 2. And then WandaVision, that will always be my favorite. That was you couldn't get into it. Man. I loved it.
Like I tried, I would always fall asleep. Honestly,
really,
I was just like, I don't know if it was just too slow or what, but it was just that real sitcom feel to it. You know, I was like,
I thought that was amazing how they did that though, and like it was, and I think you could. Really
I mean, after it was like her creating her own world where everything was peaceful, right? Mm-hmm. So that would make sense on why it was like a real sitcom.
And I think that's because like she's like one of my favorite characters too. You know what I mean? Like I really resonated with that. But I haven't felt like that rush from a TV show, and in this I'm not exaggerating, but a rush from a TV show like that in so long where you're like you watch an episode and you're like, damn, I gotta wait a whole another week. Like hurry up, I want to watch this next episode. To me, that's how I felt after each episode. I'm like, damn, this is good each freaking time.
WandaVision or 97?
WandaVision.
About 97.
Anyway, it had
feel sometimes?
Yeah, this last episode, so not this one, but the one before, when Wolverine got his shit rocked. I was like, oh shit, what's gonna happen next? And then
it doesn't tell. It tells us that he's alive and healing, but does he have his adamantium? That's kind of important. But I guess we'll have to wait till next season. What do you know about the next? They got confirmed for 3 seasons of
2 more seasons
X-Men animated.
Yeah, they're gonna go. They're trying to do it back to back. Yep. And
no, when you say back to back, like back to back years, or like back to back, like it's gonna kick back up in a couple months.
So I think we'll get the next season next year, but when I release season 2, I think they're gonna release season 3 with it. You know what I mean? But I don't think. Do you like the weekly release, or do you want it to be bulk or like binge stream?
I like the weekly releases.
Okay.
I like the weekly release. Like I said, if you binge it, I feel like it just because then we can't have these conversations. Right. You know, like I'm on 6, you're still on 1, like. So I feel like I like the.
I could see them doing weekly. Like, okay, season 2 comes out maybe first part of the year of next year, and then season 3 comes out maybe a couple of months after that, whatever. But I kind of like the weekly thing too. Weekly? Yeah.
Because we talked about it before. Remember, it kind of reminded us of watching those Saturday morning cartoons every week and whatnot. So
yeah, it did. And I really hope it'd be cool if they did a Daredevil series, if they revamp the Spider-Man one. Yeah.
I think they will. Like I think we talked about it before. Like with the success of 97, I think they're really gonna go into that. Maybe even the Fantastic Four and.
You know what I can kind of see is slowly the show becoming modernized. You know what I mean? Like we're kind of like in the excuse me, 97s or the 90s era. You can kind of slowly see like even their costume designs coming more modern, and I say that with Storm.
What? Imagine if Trayvon had muscles like MackMan.
Shout out to our viewers. There goes that shirt now.
There goes that shirt.
But like their costumes become more modernized. Yeah, I think we're like do we eventually get out of 90s and go into the 2000s? Like I don't know.
What if like with time travel they have now, they just jump right to the 2000s?
I don't know if I'd like that. I don't know if I like that.
You were just for it.
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, it's going modern. We're going to. I said this is what I'm noticing, not that I like it.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you wanted.
Yeah, like if we jump.
I think the success of it is the nostalgia part of it, and the yellow and the costumes from the 90s, like just played out, like ride it till the wheels fall off.
I think that's a big part of why this show is like popular too. Yeah, like you said, kind of going back to the 90s aesthetic, whatever. And that's kind of similar to like I don't know if you watched the Alien series, like Aliens, Ripley's Xenomorphs. So like that obviously takes place way into the future, but their technology is like really retro and old. But I love that. I love that it's like that. You know what I mean?
I always thought that was funny, like with the Back to the Future like, oh, this is 2023, and like now we're in 2023. There's no flying cars.
Where is that hoverboard at?
Where's all that shit at? Yeah, where's the hoverboard at? Like, I thought that was funny, but that's what I think about with time travel and stuff.
What do you want to happen next season? What do you wish they would kind of dive into a little bit more? I guess hope.
I want Gambit to come back.
Gambit,
you know, Team Gambit, and then like after reading the articles, the whole you mentioned it, the Death was it Death Horseman Apocalypse?
Oh, 4 Horsemen.
Yeah, bringing Gambit back maybe as a bad
War
guy,
Horse?
and then Warhorse Casino. No free shout.
Not sponsored yet.
Not sponsored yet. Bring Gambit back. Maybe like a Nightcrawler episode, so we can get a little more into him, and then of course like my boy Wolverine. But I feel like that's, even being a fan, I know he's played out because it did so much on him. But maybe like take him and let him like go do his own thing for a while, like find himself. Like maybe you don't have his adamantium and he has to go figure out how he's gonna be or what he's gonna be now, and he has to go through some different trials and tribulations, I guess. And then like the whole Avengers versus X-Men, I haven't really looked into that a lot, but that's where everybody says the MCU is going, and this was supposed to build up for that, and Deadpool is supposed to tie into all of it. And
yeah, so for our viewers too, tickets for Deadpool go on sale tomorrow.
Did not know that. No, we're on the webcam. COVID cam.
Tomorrow. Deadpool tickets, get them. Be there, be square.
Are you for sure buying them?
Yes, I am. Hell yeah. Are you?
Well, as we plan to, if I have money.
Oh, okay.
Wrapping this episode up. Moving forward, Podcast X. What are the plans moving forward?
Oh, that's a good conversation.
I don't think we'll do weeklies.
We gotta look at my contract and see what the contract says.
I think we do like movie reviews, and then maybe
we definitely got to do one on Deadpool though.
Deadpool for sure. What else is coming out? When's Fantastic Four supposed to come out?
Next year.
A couple more years. What's going on with Blade? Like just talking about like the drama of like the movies that are holding the movies back, like the Blade movie, like the Gambit movie that never happened.
What about the Captain America and Black Panther video game that's coming out?
Yep.
The Blade video game that's coming out. They actually just did beta testing for this. Have you played Overwatch?
Nope.
Never Overwatch?
Played Division. Isn't that like the same thing? Same like.
Overwatch is like kind of like cartoon kind of character like whatever, but they have like different skills and stuff like that, and you'll have to look that up. But they're basically designing a Marvel game like that where you can pick a different character and it's like a shooter. Basically, there's Doctor Strange, Groot. Like
Apex?
Yeah. But they don't have guns, they just have their own abilities and stuff. So look into that. It's called Marvel Rivals.
All the X-Men games were in the past. They all had their own abilities, strength and weaknesses, but they're
approaching like a first person kind of shooter vibe.
That would be
yeah. So look into that. We can probably talk about the video games there. I definitely think what would be cool too is like we take turns, maybe 2 episodes, like you pick one of your favorite X-Men movies and we'll just talk about it. We don't really have to talk about what happens in a movie, but what you liked, didn't like, yada yada. And then I can pick a movie and we'll talk about that too, whatever.
I'm good at that. We do something. Like I said, maybe not weekly because you know summer coming up, we busy and shit.
Softball, volleyball.
Frog's gonna be looking for his Cyclops costume.
Yeah.
If you see it,
I have an idea where it's at, but maybe
there's a reward.
These next episodes you might see Scott somewhere's on here. We'll see.
Marisol said, "Can't find it to share on Facebook." You shared it to Facebook?
I didn't. Yeah. So usually when we usually take a break in the beginning and I share it then. But how about I'll share it and then we'll give it a week's time.
Yep. When we wrapped up, it was at 45 minutes. So that would have been our shortest episode. So we've kind of been winging it for a while now.
Okay.
But
all right. Yeah, well so this is concluded season 1 for our podcast.
This is season 1 of Podcast X. So whatever we do from here on out, we got to figure out, we're going to plan season 2. Or maybe we
definitely want to bring in more guests next time. That'd be cool.
That'd be fun. Marisol, we loved you, but we need more guests. I was talking to your dad at Caden's graduation. He's like, "How's the?" He's on the grill. I was like, "What's up, Sandman?" He's like, "What's up, man? How's things on the iPod going?" I was like, "What?"
He said iPod.
I was like, "Oh, you mean the podcast?" Yeah, the podcast. Man. I was like, "Going, dude." Max said you'd be willing to come on. He's like, "Hell yeah, man, I'd be down. You know your dad."
He's grilling too, huh?
Yeah. He's like the iPod. I was like, what the frick? That made me laugh.
Woo! I know. I called him before I came here. I was like, "Man, I'm looking for my." Because I called him. I said, "Did you see my?"
Pop was over at home, had it on, grilling, making breakfast.
I said, "Did you see my Psychos?" Right. He's like, "No, son, I didn't."
Alrighty.
All right, so
guys.
Closing words then, right?
Your last, closing words for season 1, Mac. You're on the hot seat.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you, Marvel team, if you ever watch this. Thank you for putting this amazing project together. I thought it was amazing. Didn't have high expectations for it, if I'm being honest, but they blew my expectations away. A lot of good story development there. A lot of emotions in some of these episodes. I really like that. But yeah, excited for it. But thanks for those that tuned in and share the same interest with us. We'll be back with some more amazing content. And always, we appreciate your dedication. And if you have an idea, shoot them at us. And I will see you next season.
That's all you got?
Yep.
All right, I'm going to throw those shirts up there one more time. They're on the screen. They'll be available if you want one. Let us know. Reach out to me or Mackie. We'll get you one. My closing remarks. I gotta say hi to my kids first. They're watching upstairs. I'm sure you guys could hear them. They're loud as fuck. Little naughty mutants. But Mackie kind of said it all. I did have high expectations coming into this. Obviously, if we're doing a podcast on it, I got high expectations and it met it. It transcended them. It went beyond what I expected. Like you said, emotions were there. The relatability to real world events and issues and real life stuff was there. And the graphics, everything, I loved it. It was cool. I felt like they gave everybody a piece of the cake. They gave everybody justice compared to, like, we always joke on Jubilee, but she got an episode and she kind of became her own person at the end. That was cool. And I'm excited for next season, whatever it's going to be. It's 98 or just X-Men. I want to know what the hell's going on with Wolverine. But yeah, thank you guys for joining, for tuning in. Stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe, share, all that stuff. Stay tuned to see where we go with this. Until then, we are out. We're on COVID camera A. Peace.